Alright, this is Nimrod here from Team Aftershock, and I'm coming at you with a vampire deck profile. The deck's really fun to play and actually works pretty well. So let's start it off. First, we've got 3 Shadow Vampire. This is the main powerhouse of the deck, and it can special summon a vampire from the deck when it's normal summoned. This is key for making Exceed plays and getting out field presence. Next, we have 3 Vampire Duke. Now this is the main monster you're going to be summoning with Shadow Vampire, and when it's special summoned, you can declare a card type and your opponent sends that type from their deck to the graveyard. This combos well with the field spell that I'll talk about later. Also, when it's normal summoned, you can summon a vampire from your graveyard. This also helps with Exceed plays. Next, we run Vampire Grace, and when this card once per turn, you can declare a card type and your opponent sends that declared type from their deck to the graveyard. Like Vampire Duke, it combos with the field spell. Also, if a level 5 or higher zombie is special summoned from the graveyard to the field by the effect of a zombie, you can pay 2,000 life points and special summon her. She is level 6, so she doesn't exceed well with the others, but she's still a very powerful card to combo with the field spell. Next, we run 3 Vampire Sorcerer. This is the heart of the deck because when it's destroyed by an opponent's card, I'm able to add a vampire card, whether it be a spell or trap or a monster, to my hand from the deck. Also, I can banish him from the graveyard to normal summon a vampire without tributing. This combos well with Shadow Vampire and Vampire Duke. Next, I have 3 Pyramid Turtle. Now, a lot of people don't like Pyramid Turtle because it has to be destroyed by battle. However, this card is the only card in the deck that can search out Vampire Sorcerer, which is key for the deck's success. Next, we have 2 Goblin Zombie. This is a great card that can search out any of the higher level vampires, as well as this last card, Mizuki. You can run 3 Mizuki, but quite frankly, since I'm not running a Zombie Master, I find running 2 to work just fine. 3 gets a little cloggy in the sense that you'd rather have other cards to really get your strategy going. So that's it for the monsters. Next, for spell cards, I run 3 Vampire Kingdom. Now this is the key to the deck. Essentially, during the damage step, all zombies gain 500 attack points, but also once per turn, when a card is sent from the opponent's deck to the graveyard, you target a card on their field, send a vampire from your deck to the graveyard, and then destroy that targeted card. So whenever Duke's effect or Sorcerer's effect activates, you instantly can destroy an opponent's card on the field, plus you can mill other vampires to the graveyard like Vampire Sorcerer to use to summon more vampire monsters. It's key to try to get this combo out as quickly as possible. Next, I run 3 Book of Lives. It's essentially a Monster Reborn for zombies, but it also banishes a monster from the opponent's graveyard. This works great against Bujins or any other deck that could use graveyard monsters. Next, I run 2 Soul Exchange. This is great for getting over problem cards like Drago Sack, and is able to quickly get out a vampire. Now, you might think that it's bad that it skips the battle phase. However, Shadow Vampire, when it's summoned, only the monster it's special summon can attack for the turn. So there's already a heavy restriction on the battle phase for vampires that losing the battle phase for Soul Exchange doesn't really matter. Next, I run 1 Book of Moon. It's a staple and it works really well this format. Next is Foolish Burial. I can use it to send a Mizuki, or I can send a Vampire Sorcerer to use to banish to summon a higher level vampire. And then to top it off the spells, I run 3 MSTs. Great this format. I use them over Forbidden Lance because right now cards such as Tinky are very commonly used. So on to the traps. Starting it off with 2 Vampire Takeover. Now this is a unique card that a lot of people don't use in their vampire builds, but I personally think it works incredibly well. You have to have at least 1 face-up zombie on the field, and you can't have any other monsters of another type. But it lets you directly activate a Vampire Kingdom from your deck, and then if you have a vampire in your grave, you can special summon it in defense. Now it's great for instantly getting out that kingdom, but you can actually use it to special summon a Duke from your graveyard, and then Duke's effect will activate, sending an opponent's card to the graveyard, which will instantly trigger Kingdom. So if you do this during your opponent's end phase, you can pop a card before they get a chance to use it. It increases the consistency and can really get some pluses out of your plays by summoning a vampire from the graveyard. Next, I run 2 Breakthrough Skills. I use this over Fiendish Chain because being able to use it twice really helps against cards such as Evil Swarm Ophion, which really screw this deck over. And it doesn't get destroyed by MST, making it, I think, at least for this deck, more optimal for the format. Next, I run 2 Mirror Force and a Dimensional Prison. These are just my choices to get rid of monsters destroyed by battle. I'm finding that Mirror Force is working better for me right now, just destroying massive amounts of monsters, but I did have an extra spot, and I decided to also run a Deep Prison. The last 3 traps are Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulse, and Solemn Warning. They're basically staples, and for any decks that use traps, you're probably running those. If you did notice, I'm not running Torrential Tribute or Dark Hole. This is because cards such as Vampire Sorcerer and Pyramid Turtle really don't benefit from them at all. I mean, I do run Goblin Zombies and Mizukis, but overall I find other cards work better in their place. Now for the extra deck, the main card of the deck is Crimson Knight Vampire Bram, and I'm running 3 currently. Now, once per turn you can attach material to special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard. Now only that monster can attack for the rest of the turn, but it doesn't, if you do it in main phase 2, you can attack with Bram and then special summon a monster. But this opens up so many plays, potential rank 4, summoning a powerful monster. I've even brought back a Dragosack and then tributed the Dragosack to pop a card. But also, what makes this guy even more deadly is you can, during the standby phase, after he's destroyed by an opponent's card, he comes back to the field in defense mode. Now obviously you can't change his battle position that turn, but he can act there as a shield that just never goes away. Or you can overlay it for the next extra deck card, Gaia Charger. And what this guy can do is he pierces defense, but if you have a defense position Bram, you can overlay it into Gaia Charger and still attack that turn. Next, I'm running 2 Audrius. He's another good rank 5 and he can pop a card with his effect. Shark Fortress is actually, not many players use it, but it's an OTK enabler. If you go into Shark Fortress, you choose a monster and attack twice. It's not used all the time, but for the times when it works, he can finish games. Next, I've got Abyss Dweller. Works great against some of the top decks out there. Daigusto Emerald, I use this to recycle vampires because vampires tend to make it a grind game, which means I start to run out of vampires to send from my deck to the graveyard to use for Kingdom, so I can summon Emerald, put them back in the deck, draw, and then keep using Kingdom to destroy cards. Diamond Direwolf for basic removal. Cowboy's a staple. Lavalval Chain is used to mill Mizuki and Vampire Sorcerer and is an often go-to Exceed monster. Mace Stroke's a staple and can work for good defense. Black Ship of Corn can get rid of problem monsters. And the number 101 Silent Honor Arc is just ridiculously good and can also get rid of problem cards while having built-in protection. So let's move on to the side deck. I've got 3 Max Cs for decks that special summon a lot, Hieratic Rulers, Madolches, any decks that really just go crazy, I'll side these in and try to plus off of it. Next, I've got 2 Twisters. It's a really great card for removing a lot of side deck cards like Soul Drain, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Next, I've got 3 Light Imprisoning Mirror. This wrecks Bujins, and when Lightsworns get their new support, it'll wreck them too because they're going to become a nasty deck in the future as well. I've got 2 Mind Crush. This will disrupt decks that search a lot. Rivalry of the Warlord. This basically handles decks that use different kind of monsters, Wind-Ups, Madolches, primarily. And then finally 3 Overwork to hit Fire Fist, which are basically the tier 1 monster at the moment. So yeah, that's essentially my vampire deck right now. It's been working really well. You guys should totally try it out and let us know how it goes. Thanks, Nimrod signing out.
Don't ever tell him what to do!